Hey everybody, how's it going? Stoud man coming back at you once again, and today I've got a pretty interesting little Blu-ray and DVD update for you. I went on down to the pawn shop, and usually when I go there, maybe I'll find one or two things, as I've shown you in past videos before. I'll find one or two things maybe, but sometimes I go there and I won't find anything. So in the past few years in particular, it's not really been a great place to find what I'm looking for, essentially. But holy crap, did that change today. And I think it might be because there's a certain something in the air today. I think it's called smoke. Here in the Portland area, we have a lot of wildfires going on in the area, and there's just smoke making the air practically, honestly, by the time I got home, they said it was unhealthy to be breathing that air. So, yeah, I think I know why people were not actually out and about. That's what I'm thinking, is that the reason I found all this stuff is because there's nobody there earlier to pick it from me before I had a chance to, because nobody wanted to go out and brave the wildfires and the smoky air that was barely breathable at the time. But if that is the case, then I went out and I made quite a freaking haul here that I want to tell you all about, because holy crap, I got some really cool shit. Anyways, I think I'm going to start with the DVDs, and I want to talk about 3 DVDs in particular that I picked up. Each of their DVDs are $1 each. Preface that. Who among us would not buy a DVD for $1? Who among us who, if you saw a DVD of something maybe that you had maybe like a passing interest in or something like that, it is something that was, you never actually saw it, but you kind of wanted to see it before and you just didn't know whether or not to get it, something like that, just something that kind of sort of catches your eye and isn't necessarily something that is great, but it's worth taking a shot on for $1, right? Who among us would not spend $1 to find out if something was worth checking out? Who among us? I don't think anyone in the collecting community would say no to that deal. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and start showing you here. First off, I got John Carpenter's Cigarette Burns, and you can tell here first off that this is, it looks to me like a library copy. So you got the barcode here, and then you've got the horror section here, and then on the back it's revealed maybe it was a library, but before the library copy it was Videorama in Portland, Southwest Broadway, 1501 Southwest Broadway. So yeah, go ahead and call them and let them know where their DVD ended up if you really care to. I don't care. Anyway, what really struck my eye about this one is that I'd never actually heard of it before. Upon further research, I found out that this was a short film that John Carpenter did for Masters of Horror, I believe it is, which you can now get on Blu-ray. You can get this on Blu-ray. I didn't realize that. I had never heard of Cigarette Burns before. So now that I've heard of it, I might actually pick that up if I watch this and I like it. But the main reason that I picked it up is because it was this, like the description on the box: film is magic, and in the right hands it can be a weapon. For On the Ropes movie programmer Kirby Sweetman, played by Norman Reedus, the holy grail of cinema is La Fin Absolue du Monde, a legendary lost movie whose sole showing was rumored to have driven its audience to a homicidal frenzy. But as Kirby gets closer to the truth about the film, he's sucked into a private hell of grisly hallucinations and brutal acts of violence. Now the only surviving print of the film is within his grasp, and the most horrific screening of all is about to begin. I don't know about you, but like a horror movie that has to do with like screening old horror movies is right up my fucking alley, man. I love movies about movies, first of all. Second of all, this is a John Carpenter movie. Third, you got Norman Reedus in there, and you've got Udo Kier. I mean, how can you say no to that for $1? Imagine you don't know what Cigarette Burns is. All you know is that it's something made by John Carpenter, and it stars Norman Reedus and Udo Kier, and it's a movie about movies. Essentially. It's not really a movie, but yeah, you get the point. I mean, how can you say no to that? I couldn't say no to that. And apparently all of these Masters of Horror movies or shows or whatever the heck you want to call them, since they're about an hour long each, all of the single releases like this come with special features that you will not find on the Blu-ray sets. So like this one in particular comes with an on-set interview with Norman Reedus, working with a master, John Carpenter, Celluloid Apocalypse, an interview with John Carpenter, behind the scenes of the making of the Cigarette Burns, audio commentary with writers Drew McWeeny and Scott Swan, and audio commentary with John Carpenter. There are a couple other special features as well, but you know, some of those special features are on the Blu-ray set, and others, like the Norman Reedus interview, are not on the Blu-ray set, so you can only get them in this particular DVD release. So yeah, you might wonder, why would you pick up something that has this thing on it, and this thing on it, and this thing on it? Well, part of it is just, again, that the biggest part of it is just, I want to try this out. I want to see what this is about. I was interested in it just because of who's in it and all that. And the other part of it is that there's something charming about all the different places that a used DVD has gone to, you know, like this probably started out at Videorama and ended up at a library. Thank you, brain. Ended up at a library, and it got a crack in the bottom here, and it still has the Masters of Horror insert thing here, which has some really cool artwork on it. I mean, also, they got on the disc here, somebody wrote their initials, D and JS. If it said JC, I'd be like, John Carpenter? No. I have no idea who D and JS is, but regardless, I mean, before I bought any of these, I looked at the back of the disc, and it was in really good condition. So I was like, you know what? All I care about when it comes to these movies is that I can actually, you know, watch the movie or watch what's on the disc. And I thought there was more to this, but I guess it's just, yeah, it's just a little insert thing. Alright. Anyway. Yeah, for $1, I don't regret that at all. I mean, for this one in particular, I mostly got it because of the special features on here. Like, oh my god, just I wanted to see some of those special features, you know what I mean? Next up, we have one that I had never heard of before, and apparently goes under a completely different name on IMDb. It is a 1972 movie with starring Christopher Walken, and this particular release might actually be a bootleg, might not. It says it's manufactured in Canada under the Legacy Entertainment label. If that actually existed, I have no idea. And the special features are interactive menu and scene index, so that should tell you the quality we've got here. We've got Christopher Walken in The Mind Snatchers. Again, tell me that you see a fucking DVD case like this with young Christopher Walken here, The Mind Snatchers, and you're thinking about that other movie he did in the 80s, actually it was about 10 years after this, that, you know, you're thinking about that thinking, oh my god, that was kind of a cool thing, and he did something else that was apparently similar to that 10 years earlier. How did I not know about this? What in the fuck? Yeah, exactly. That's why when you see this in the stores, you're just like, I have to get this. It's $1. It's $1. And for $1, you can take a fucking chance. It sounds fairly similar, again, to the other one that the name is escaping me. I remember when it came out though, 1983. Yeah, all right. But yeah, it sounds fairly similar, and I want to check it out. So why not? I've been told that this is probably a bootleg. It kind of does look like a better bootleg out there, one of the better bootlegs out there. But I don't know. Yeah. For $1, I figured I'm going to give it a shot. Again, for $1, I gave this a shot. Boris Karloff in The Veil. This comes with 5 episodes of a television series that, according to the back of the box, never actually aired. So, 1958, The Veil, a spine-tingling television series devoted to the paranormal, stars Boris Karloff as the show's host. Hailed as one of the greatest television series that was never aired, The Veil unfortunately never made it to the small screen due to the financial problems of the show's film company. Television buffs that enjoy tension and suspense will delight in these thrilling episodes chock full of surprising twists and unexpected turns. So, I mean, on the surface, I mean, Boris Karloff is a host. Sold. Now, it kind of sounds like they're trying to play off of the whole Twilight Zone popularity kind of thing going on at the time. And if that's what it is, then I will not be disappointed, because I am totally down with that kind of stuff. I love the Twilight Zone. I love shows like that. And when I saw this, I thought that's kind of what this sounds like. That's kind of what The Veil sounds like. And to know that there's a show that came out in 1950, didn't actually come out, that starring Boris Karloff as the host, that had a few episodes, and they never actually aired, and apparently it's pretty good according to the back of the box. And you know, just the curiosity of it, like, I've never heard of this before. I really need to check this out. And apparently this also may be a bootleg, because it says it's from Platinum Disc Corporation. I don't know if you guys can see there, Platinum Disc Corporation. And yeah, it does not look like really an official release. It could be, but I couldn't find this particular release on Amazon. Thank you, brain. So I don't know what to think about that. It could be an official release. It might not be. I don't know. All I know is that this has 5 spine-tingling episodes of a show that, before going to the pawn shop today, I had no idea existed. Yeah. Especially with Halloween coming up, I had to check that out. And apparently there is an official DVD set out that has all 10 episodes. Apparently there's only over 10 episodes made. So it has all 10 episodes on it, and you can get it on Amazon for like 11 or 12 bucks or something like that. So, yeah, cool. For $1, I get to check out 5 of the episodes. I'm down with that. Now we're going to get into some DVDs that I got purely because either they aren't on Blu-ray yet or they never will be. And the one that never will be, more than likely, is Paranormal Entity. This is the Asylum movie that tried to capitalize, of course, off of the Paranormal Activity movie franchise and how popular that became a few years ago. So they did a series of movies that have become a part of this whole, like, unofficial Paranormal Entity sequels Like the house on 100 Ghost Street or something like that is apparently supposedly a sequel to this. 8213 Gacy House or whatever is also a sequel to this. There's this exorcism movie that's also a sequel to this. It's like none of them are actually tied to this movie though. And most of them are not even remotely as good as this. The shocking thing about this fucking Asylum movie is that it's actually pretty fucking good. I don't like Asylum movies. I've never liked any of the movies that they've done, and yet, honestly, I really like this movie. This is a really good found footage horror movie. It's up there with the first Paranormal Activity. It's almost just as good. It will fucking shock you when you watch this and realize that it's actually, for a found footage movie, for what it is and what it's trying to be, it's actually fairly good and fairly original too. Takes its own twists and turns, does its own thing, doesn't try to copy verbatim what the other film did. It just does its own thing, goes off in another direction, and it works so fucking well. I really like this movie. And I've been looking for it for a decent price for a while now. So when I saw it for $1, I was just like, there you fucking go. Finally, you know? And, I mean, that's how I felt about these other two as well. Just finally found these for the price I wanted to pay. In particular, here we've got Hollywoodland. It's a crime that this isn't on Blu-ray yet. Hollywoodland is an excellent fucking movie. It's really one of my favorite movies from the last 10 or 15 years. It's all about the curse of Superman, essentially. It very much focuses on like the original the original story of the original Superman, George Reeves, and all that. And of course, it stars some pretty famous people. You've got Ben Affleck in there. You've got Adrian Brody over here. I mean, you've got some pretty damn good actors in this. And Adrian Brody is really trying to pull off his best, you know, hard-boiled detective kind of character. And it really does work quite well. This is very much like a noir movie. And, like, you know, if you like movies like Black Dahlia, which I recently did a little bit of like a review for after buying it and watching it. If you like things like that, like the post-modern neo-noir movies that have been coming out, focused on LA and Hollywood in the 40s essentially, then this is just right up your alley. This is fucking fantastic. I absolutely love it. I think it's a crime that it hasn't come out on Blu-ray, but I honestly feel like it's probably not going to be too much more time before it does come out on Blu-ray. I would not be surprised if we heard about a release of this on Blu-ray in the next few years. It might not be full of thrills, or frills I should say, not thrills. It might not be full of special features or anything like that. It might be a bare bones release. It might be in one of those eco cases and all that. But I have a feeling we're probably going to hear about a release of this on Blu-ray at some point in the near future, because it's just one of those movies that's excellent and it's worth putting out on Blu-ray, or at least in high definition. So, yeah, since it isn't on Blu-ray yet, I've been looking at picking up the DVD, but I didn't want to pay too much, knowing that the Blu-ray is probably going to come out at some point. $1, that's my price right there. And this, if you hadn't been able to tell already, is a previous Blockbuster rental. Another one of those little things that's kind of nice about getting used DVDs sometimes, is that you can find like these, they have a story to them. The DVDs themselves have a story to them. I think that's really kind of interesting. This one had a story too, but I ripped it off. The Fan. The Fan here, starring Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. Some of you may know that I'm interested in baseball. Baseball is my favorite sport. If I'm going to talk about or be interested in any sport whatsoever, it's probably going to be baseball. I own a lot of baseball movies, but I did not own this movie, and this movie, to my knowledge at least, is not on Blu-ray yet. So when I saw this for $1, you damn skippy, I picked that up. I also like that it has here on the bar here TriStar, which you're probably not going to see that anywhere anymore. And at the bottom here of the case, Hank, H-A-N-C-K, Hank. Well, Hank, I've got your DVD. What you gonna do about it? I paid $1 for it. He's probably thinking, I got like 10 cents for that. You got gypped. The Fan is a fantastic movie. That was horrible. But regardless, I really do like this movie. I have fond memories of watching it like on HBO and whatnot. Like, it was on all those movie channels for a little while. And for a long time I didn't even bother watching it, and then eventually I got around to checking it out on one of those movie channels. And yeah, really enjoyed it. Quite good movie. It's not maybe the best movie ever, but it's one of those creepy thriller kind of movies. And, you know, if you like things like the remake of, that movie, Cape Fear. Thank you, brain. If you like things like the remake of Cape Fear, or you appreciate anything about that movie, then The Fan, it felt like kind of a return to that for De Niro, and it was really, there were a couple movies out at the time that were kind of like that. And I enjoyed them to a certain extent. There's something about the thriller with the creepy guy who's trying to fucking control and like terrorize and whatnot. I mean, there's something about that movie in the mid to late 90s that was just really interesting and creepy and creative and spooky and, you know, all together ooky. The Addams Family. I don't know where I'm going with any of this. So, on to the Blu-rays, I suppose. That would be the 6 DVDs that I picked up. You can see The Fan, Hollywoodland, Paranormal Entity, The Veil, The Mind Snatchers, and of course, Cigarette Burns. If I like this, you know I'm going to pick up the Blu-ray, but at least now I have those special features. Mind Snatchers, I do not believe, has a Blu-ray release. I do not believe The Veil, Paranormal Entity, or anything else has a Blu-ray release. The only one that does is Cigarette Burns. So yeah. Anywho, I think what I'm going to do is turn this into 2 videos, because this one's already running quite long, right? So, I mean, yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to make that a separate video, you know, like, just keep people from having to watch for too fucking long. Anyways, if you've made it this far, then thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more. There is more to this pawn shop haul. I promise you that. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later. Peace.